The reigning champions Chelsea were languishing in 13th. 5 teams were yet to win, most notably perhaps Tottenham. Sunderland propped up the table.
September 2015. There's nothing wrong with dreams. Slaven Bilic.
Injury to Mohamed Besic meant the introduction of Steven Naismith, who came off the bench to score a memorable hat-trick as Everton ran out 3-1 winners, so piling even more misery onto the ailing champions.
Naismith slots his third low under the keeper from a tight angle.
Watford earned their first victory back in the Premier League thanks to Odion Ighalo's strike against Swansea. Manchester United and Liverpool reignited their very special rivalry at Old Trafford. United had spent heavily on 19-year-old Anthony Martial from Monaco, who started on the bench.
United draw first blood. A wide free kick sent across the edge of the box and slotted into the top right-hand corner.
They went ahead through goals from Daley Blind and Ander Herrera before 2 stunning strikes set Old Trafford alight.
An overhead volley.
Benteke, wow! Has he hit that or what? Old Trafford stunned into silence. They could do with another of their own now. Martial worrying Skirtle, getting away from Klein. Anthony Martial! Oh, wow, that's special! That is special!
Aston Villa hadn't won since the opening day of the season. They took a 2-0 lead at unbeaten Leicester, thanks to goals from Jack Grealish and Carlos Hill. But under Claudio Ranieri, the Foxes were beginning to develop a remarkable resilience.
She's elapsed by millimetres. Mahrez, box of tricks. Way back in towards Mahrez. Hussein Kane, Dyer went in, the ball is in. Leicester just won't be beaten.
Matt Ritchie scored one of the goals of the season as Bournemouth beat winless Sunderland 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium. And Chelsea beat 9-man Arsenal 2-0 at the Bridge. Jose Mourinho extending his record of having never lost to Arsene Wenger in the Premier League. 5 games, 5 wins, no goals conceded. Manchester City were looking unstoppable. They hosted West Ham, who had already won at both Arsenal and Liverpool.
What a start for West Ham United! Payet's ball in. Oh, on the line, it could be problems. Tapped in for 2. Jafra Sakho. It is a simply stunning victory for West Ham United.
Leicester's unbeaten start to the season came to an end in a 5-2 defeat to Arsenal at the King Power Stadium. Alexis Sanchez stealing the show.
Alexis, hat-trick in his sights. Spectacular!
A sign reads, "Welcome to White Hart Lane."
After their shock defeat to West Ham, Manchester City ended September with a trip to Tottenham. Kevin De Bruyne, a £55 million club record signing from Wolfsburg in late August, put the visitors ahead. But Mauricio Pochettino's young Spurs came roaring back.
Kane, now Walker, who's onside, 2 in the middle, Caballero denies Son. The closest the Spurs have come to an equalising goal. And then it's put in by Eric Dyer. Now flicked on by Alvarez. And Tottenham have turned it around against the league leaders. It's Christian Eriksen. He has tested Caballero. And the follow-up is put in by Harry Kane.
A fan films the goal celebrations on their phone.
Lamela in the middle. It's Eric Lamela.
Going around the City keeper.
And it's 4-1. What a chastening afternoon for Manchester City.
Manchester United now led the way at the top after back-to-back defeats for City. West Ham up to 3rd. Leicester slipped to 8th. The 2 North East clubs propped up the rest and were still without a win. Champions Chelsea found themselves 14th, 8 points off the league leaders.
October 2015. I am the normal one. Jurgen Klopp.
Any momentum Chelsea had hoped to build after beating Arsenal was lost in October when they went down 3-1 at home to Southampton. Their 4th defeat in 8 games. Sergio Aguero struck an incredible 5 goals as Man City came from behind to beat Newcastle 6-1. Just the 5th player to achieve that feat in Premier League history. 10-man Sunderland blew a 2-goal lead against West Ham at the Stadium of Light. Dick Advocaat parted company with the Black Cats soon after, with the club in the relegation zone, having failed to win any of their first 8 games. Following Man City's demolition of Newcastle, Manchester United had the chance to regain top spot. But to do that, they'd have to beat Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium.
Ozil, Ramsey, Ozil's onside. Sanchez scores! United are still on the bus. Theo Walcott. Ozil, 2! Flying away! Walcott, look at his face here for Sanchez. Darmian's got a snag. Sanchez! 3-0 Arsenal! A Gunners' glory day. Arsene Wenger can feel the love again.
Meanwhile, on Merseyside, a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park cost Liverpool boss Brendan Rodgers his job, with the club sitting in 10th position. The charismatic former Borussia Dortmund manager Jurgen Klopp was the man appointed as Rodgers' successor. On Wearside, Sam Allardyce was chosen to take over the reins at Sunderland. And he inspired a 3-0 victory over rivals Newcastle United in just his 2nd match as manager. Jose Mourinho was sent to the stand as 10-man Chelsea lost at West Ham. Substitute Andy Carroll scored the winner in the second half. Still no joy for Aston Villa, who hadn't won since the opening day. And after a 2-1 defeat at home to Swansea, Tim Sherwood paid with his job. As October drew to a close, Mourinho went up against Klopp, who was still waiting for his first win in the league. The Germans' team fell behind, but Liverpool's new boss had all the answers.
Firmino. Coutinho! That is a gem!
With his left foot.
Coutinho scores for Liverpool! Revelation, blue crisis!
This time with his right.
Hyde, Lallana step over. Benteke, 3-1 Liverpool! Klopp's Liverpool Zenith, Mourinho's Chelsea Nadir.
So Chelsea nowhere to be seen at the top of the table. Arsenal sat just behind Manchester City on goal difference. Leicester were up to 3rd. Manchester United beginning to fall off the pace. The Blues sat 15th, some 14 points behind the leaders. Aston Villa, despite their wretched form, were still just 4 points adrift of 17th placed Bournemouth.
November 2015. Victory and defeat has the same face. Claudio Ranieri.
Arsenal and Tottenham entered November's North London derby in fine form. The Gunners had won 5 in a row, while Spurs were unbeaten in 10 since the opening day.
Rose. That's a gorgeous ball for Kane, who's onside. Harry Kane has scored for Tottenham. Ozil. Gibbs! Again! The most improbable super sub! And Arsenal have grabbed an equaliser inside the last quarter of an hour of Derby Day.
The spoils shared in North London, and Tottenham now considered by many to be credible contenders for the top 4. A new month, but the same story for Chelsea. Marko Arnautovic gave Stoke a 1-0 win as the champions lost a 3rd straight game in the Premier League, their 7th in total. Frenchman Remy Gard was named as Tim Sherwood's successor at Villa, His first match in the dugout was a 0-0 draw against Manchester City, the Villains' first point after 7 successive defeats. Despite those drop points, Manchester City began match week 13 at the top of the table on goal difference. Next for them, a revitalised Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp at the Etihad Stadium. The visitors shot the league leaders with an astonishing first-half blitz, going 3-0 ahead after an Eliakim Mangala own goal, and further strikes from Philippe Coutinho and Roberto Firmino. City pulled one back, but there was to be no way back.
Lana, then Teke came down for Skrtel. Wow! He has lashed it home! That's how good Liverpool can now be.
Arsenal missed the chance to go top, losing at West Brom. A Mikel Arteta own goal put the Baggies 2-1 ahead. And Santi Cazorla fluffed a late penalty as the Gunners lost for the first time in 7 matches. Jamie Vardy equalled the Premier League scoring record, netting for the 10th game running in a 3-0 stroll against a woeful Newcastle side. One more, and he would break Ruud van Nistelrooy's 12-year-old record. As November drew to a close, Leicester faced Manchester United at the King Power Stadium. The winner would go top of the table, but that wasn't the main narrative. All eyes were on Jamie Vardy and his attempt to make Premier League history.
Leicester playing left to right.
Fuchs. Rolling for Vardy. Onside. Jamie Vardy! History! It's what the world tuned in to see. The man has become a phenomenon. Jamie Vardy, take a bow. Take 11 bows.
1-1 the final score, but the headlines belong to the hottest of hotshots who was spearheading Leicester's impressive campaign. They were second, Manchester City top following a win against Southampton, just 2 points separating them and Arsenal in fourth. Chelsea continued to struggle in 14th. Big Sam's Sunderland were out of the relegation zone. Villa, though, were already 7 points from safety.
December 2015. I feel like my work was betrayed. Jose Mourinho.
So December is upon us. The whistling wind tells us so.
The league leaders Manchester City began their month with an awkward trip to the Britannia Stadium.
Shaqiri. Got around Fernando. It's Xherdan Shaqiri. Arnautovic! Stoke lead the leaders! Shaqiri, delightful. Made a mug of Fernando. Rolling through for Bojan. Arnautovic too! Yet another twist at the top.
Riyad Mahrez scored a hat-trick as Leicester eased to victory at Swansea, a result that spelt the end for Swans manager Gary Monk after a run of just 1 win in 11. The crisis deepened for Chelsea. They lost 1-0 at home to Bournemouth after a late Glenn Murray goal. And the Cherries' momentum continued the following week. After that famous win at Stamford Bridge, there was a 2-1 victory over Manchester United at the Vitality Stadium.
Rain falling in front of the Leicester emblem.
So much can change in a year. Just 12 months earlier, Chelsea had led the Premier League while Leicester were bottom. Now at the King Power, Claudio Ranieri's Foxes knew a win would take them 2 points clear at the summit and leave the champions a point above the relegation zone.
Bouchard. Alright, Vardy! Headline goal again for Jamie Vardy! Mahrez round the back, a lovely take from Riyad Mahrez, who's teasing out Piliqueta and scoring gloriously! That is a gem!
Loic Remy came off the bench to pull one back, but the game was up.
The miracle and the mess!
That result finally sealed Mourinho's fate. 7 months after leading Chelsea to the Premier League title, he left the club for a second time. Manchester United lost again, this time 2-1 at home to Norwich. No wins in 4 now for United as the fans began to turn on Louis van Gaal. Fellow Dutchman Guus Hiddink was chosen to steady the ship at Chelsea. He was in the stands to see them get back to winning ways against Sunderland. Leicester were assured of top spot at Christmas, but 2 of the chasing pack, Arsenal and Manchester City, met at the Emirates Stadium on the 21st of December.
Ozil. Theo Walcott, beauty! It's Mesut Ozil, it is Olivier Giroud, it's 2-0 Arsenal!
2-1 the final score after Yaya Touré's stunning consolation. Arsenal now just 2 points behind Leicester at the top of the table. On Boxing Day, Stoke condemned Manchester United to a 3rd consecutive defeat. Leicester's 10-match unbeaten run came to an end at the hands of Liverpool, just the Foxes' 2nd loss of the season. But Arsenal failed to capitalise on Leicester's dropped points when they, inexplicably, were hammered 4-0 at Southampton later that evening. The Gunners would end 2015 level on points at the top of the Premier League with Leicester, whose next game was a goalless draw at home to Manchester City. Claudio Ranieri's men growing in belief, that league position unthinkable at the start of the season. It had been some year.
Vardy waving to fans.
So it was only goal difference that gave Arsenal their edge over Leicester. Manchester City and Tottenham very much in the hunt too, but Manchester United were now 5 points adrift of 4th. 10 points in December saw Bournemouth move 3 points clear of the relegation zone and level with Chelsea. Newcastle, Sunderland and Villa needed a dramatic change of fortunes in 2016.
Beaten out by Czech, Firmino!
A wonderful Arsenal through ball.
And that is an equaliser for Arsenal! Firmino! Glorious goal!
Arsenal take a corner.
Ramsey with width! It's in! It's 2-2! It's Olivier Giroud! And Giroud! Arsenal lead for the first time on the night! Henderson, Benteke, 3-3! That is a proper football match. Fabulous drama from beginning to end.
While that drama unfolded on Merseyside, Leicester beat Tottenham 1-0 at White Hart Lane to go level on points at the top with Arsenal. Spurs were 7 points further back. Wayne Rooney's first goal at Anfield since 2005 gave Manchester United all 3 points against Liverpool to keep them in touch with the top 4. By now, Liverpool were anxious to pick up a first win of 2016. Their difficult month continued with a trip to Norwich. The Canaries found themselves 3-1 ahead, but Klopp's men weren't in the mood to fade away.
In by Klein for Henderson! 3-2! Here's Lallana. Here's Firmino. It's 3-3. It's quite a game. Martin's back pass, Milner's all alone, Milner against Rudd, James Milner, 4-3 Liverpool! Set back for Bassett! 4-4! Chan, Benteke, Colker, and Colker again! And Lallana! 5-4! It's crazy! It is insane! And so is he! The most remarkable culmination to one of the most remarkable Premier League games!
19-year-old Dele Alli scored one of the goals of the season as Spurs beat Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst Park to keep them 5 points off the summit. Charlie Austin, a January signing from Queen's Park Rangers, came off the bench to earn Southampton a 1-0 win at Old Trafford. The pressure back on Louis van Gaal, who was heavily booed at full time. Former Udinese boss Francesco Guidolin was named as Swansea's new head coach to work alongside Alan Curtis. He was on the touchline for the first time to see his new team win impressively against Everton at Goodison Park. Arsenal ended January by hosting Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners had failed to beat them in any of their last 8 league meetings, and familiar failings resurfaced after Per Mertesacker's red card early in the first half.
Costa's surrounded by 3 Arsenal defenders.
Costa scores! Chelsea have done a job on Arsenal again. By hook or by crook, they find a way.
So Leicester, to everyone's surprise, were 3 points clear at the top, with Manchester City, Arsenal and Spurs breathing down their neck. Manchester United were still trying to play catch-up. No change in the bottom 3, with Newcastle, Sunderland and Villa by now in serious trouble. Swansea, under Francesco Guidolin, were inching towards safety.
February 2016. Nothing is finished. Manuel Pellegrini.
Leicester began a crucial month with a visit from Liverpool. And Jamie Vardy scored a goal of the season contender as the Foxes ran out 2-0 winners. Next up, Manchester City, who'd announced that Manuel Pellegrini would be replaced by Pep Guardiola in the summer. This was a fixture that, in the eyes of many, might answer the big question: could Leicester City really win the Premier League?
Lifted in beyond Nakazaki and squeezed home! Robert Huth has scored for Leicester City inside 2.5 minutes! Here's Conte. Rolled through towards Mahrez, who's got clear of Otamendi. Riyad Mahrez! 2-0 Leicester!
A lofted cross into City's box.
Huth with the take, Huth with the header, it's free! Sensational! Why shouldn't they be champions?
An amazing 3-1 victory that meant Leicester were now 6 points clear of Manchester City. In that race for the title, Sunday the 14th of February was a pivotal date. With Manchester City and Tottenham set to do battle later in the afternoon, Arsenal and Leicester kicked off proceedings at the Emirates Stadium. The Foxes took the lead in the first half through a Jamie Vardy penalty. But a second yellow card for Danny Simpson after the break altered the course of the game.
It's for Berry. Aimed in at Giroud. Walcott! 1-1! Massive Gunners goal! Ozil clips it in. Well back! There's your fairy tale! You could weep for Leicester. You could weep for them. Spurs and City, it's over to you.
So the focus switches from North London to East Manchester.
After a goalless first half, Spurs were awarded a penalty following Raheem Sterling's handball, and Harry Kane gave the London club a lead to defend.
Clichy, and it was Iheanacho, right on cue. In for Eriksson, and Eriksson has snaffled one for Tottenham. It's a glorious day for the Glory club from North London.
So at the end of a breathless day, a 5th straight win for Spurs meant they sat alongside Arsenal, just 2 points behind Leicester City at the top.
Old Trafford.
For the Gunners, that gap had opened to 5 by the time they went to Old Trafford, where opponents Manchester United were pinning their hopes on an 18-year-old. A player who was virtually unknown before his 2 goals in the Europa League days earlier.
Marcus Rashford.
Barella, first time. And it came for Marcus Rashford. And the fairy tale has a second chapter. By Lingard, it's again. 2 in 3 minutes for the new darling of Old Trafford.
United 3-2 winners in the end, and Arsenal's championship challenge in jeopardy.
A severe blow to the Gunners' title hopes. Are his players made of the right stuff?
Leicester led Tottenham by 2 points at the top, with Arsenal and Manchester City struggling to keep up. Manchester United still had faint hopes of a top 4 finish. Aston Villa were looking resigned to relegation, but just 1 point separated Norwich, Newcastle and Sunderland. Bournemouth and Swansea still looking over their shoulders.
March 2016. Hopefully, we can make the fans proud again. Rafael Benitez.
Another round of midweek matches meant a fast start to March. With the other title challengers not in action until Wednesday, Leicester could only manage a 2-2 draw at home to West Brom on the Tuesday. Spurs missed the chance to go top on Wednesday, losing 1-0 at West Ham. Michail Antonio, their match winner. That same night, Arsenal lost as well. Ashley Williams' winner meant back-to-back defeats for the Gunners, whose season was in danger of imploding. On top of that, Manchester City were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool at Anfield. Serious setbacks for all three of the chasing pack. Leicester's draw with West Brom now looked like a point gained rather than 2 lost. A third defeat in a row for Newcastle, this time at home to Bournemouth, meant the end for head coach Steve McClaren. He left with the club 19th in the table after just 6 wins all season. With Leicester playing later that day, Tottenham had another chance to go top of the table, temporarily at least, in what had been billed as the biggest North London derby in years. Arsenal took the lead in the first half through Aaron Ramsey. But after Francis Coquelin was sent off, the 11 men of Spurs fought back.
Eriksen's take, Lamela, it's in from Alderweireld! Spurs are rolling again! What a massive opportunity for Tottenham this is. And here is Harry Kane for Tottenham! Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane! Marines played it in. Sanchez, 2-2! They're not done yet, Arsenal!
A wonderfully entertaining match, but ultimately a missed opportunity for Tottenham in their pursuit of Leicester, who won 1-0 at Watford later that evening to go 5 points clear at the top, courtesy of Riyad Mahrez's superb second-half winner. The former Liverpool and Real Madrid manager Rafael Benitez was the surprise replacement for Steve McClaren at Newcastle. But his first game ended with a defeat at Leicester. Shinji Okasaki's acrobatic winner sealing the points. Remy Gard was dismissed by Aston Villa after a 1-0 loss at Swansea. Having won just 2 of his 20 games in charge, a 6th straight defeat was the final straw. Alexander Mitrovic rescued a point late on for Newcastle against Sunderland. A draw far from ideal for both, but it did at least end the Toons' long losing streak against their bitter rivals. Later that afternoon, it was Manchester's turn to scrap for local pride. A win for United would leave them just 1 behind City, who'd taken only 4 of the last 15 available.
Marcus Rashford, he's in here, Rashford! He scored! The fairy tale has a further chapter. The Blues are left red-faced. Derby Day belongs to Manchester United, and more specifically to the 18-year-old Marcus Rashford.
The table at the end of March.
That result meant Manchester United were now level with West Ham and just 1 point behind City. Leicester 5 points clear of Spurs with just 7 to play. At the bottom, it looked like being 2 from Norwich, Sunderland and Newcastle to go down with doomed Aston Villa. 5th at the turn of the year, Crystal Palace had slumped to 16th.
April 2016. We are there, waiting and fighting. Mauricio Pochettino.
Spurs began April with a trip to Anfield. Philippe Coutinho had given Liverpool the lead, But Harry Kane's superb equaliser ensured the match finished 1-1. That allowed Leicester to go 7 points clear the next day, when Wes Morgan's header was enough to beat Southampton 1-0. Norwich overcame Newcastle 3-2 at Carrow Road with a stunning 93rd minute winner from Martin Olsen. Andy Carroll scored a hat-trick as West Ham came from 2-0 down to draw 3-3 with Arsenal at the Bowling Ground. Arsene Wenger's team now all but out of the title race and having to focus on remaining in the top four.
Carroll celebrating, and then Bilic and Wenger shaking hands.
Leicester's next stop was Sunderland, who were just as desperate for all 3 points, for very different reasons.
Early ball from Drinkwater. Vardy's in here. And scores! 1-0 Leicester again! And here goes Vardy. He's on his way. Manoni has come. Jamie Vardy! Leicester! It's got to happen! Who's catching him now? Reach out for paradise!
Later that afternoon, Tottenham beat Manchester United 3-0 at White Hart Lane to remain 7 points behind with 5 games to play. Manchester United's next match saw relegation confirmed for Aston Villa, who lost 1-0, the decisive setback in a truly abysmal campaign for the Midlands club. But Sunderland was still fighting, beating Norwich 3-0 at Carrow Road in a massive 6-pointer. The result meant Sam Allardyce's men were now just 1 point behind the Canaries and with a game in hand. With just 5 games to go, Leicester City played host to West Ham. The Foxes took the lead through Jamie Vardy, but his afternoon turned sour later, sent off for simulation. And when the Hammers were awarded a penalty of their own, converted by Andy Carroll, Leicester faced a true test of their mettle.
Simpson. Cresswell! Forward!
Hammers lead 2-1.
Schlupp. He goes looking for something. Referee gives a penalty. It falls to Leo Ulloa. It's a point. And arguably, that is 1 point closer to the Premier League title.
Tottenham made light work of Stoke City the next night as they continued their pursuit of Leicester. 2 goals each for Harry Kane and Dele Alli in an outstanding 4-0 away win. Liverpool also put 4 past 10-man Everton at Anfield. Roberto Martinez, a man now under considerable pressure following a desperately disappointing league campaign. Only 4 games left, and Leicester were almost there. Next up, Swansea City at the King Power Stadium.
Swansea squander possession deep in their own half.
Oh, it's a giveaway to Morris. And Morris scores! Leicester lift off again!
A Leicester free kick is fired into the box.
By Drinkwater, and in! Leo Ulloa has his moment! Leicester have comfort! Schmeichel lashes it away again and Schlupp's on his way. And he's quick, and he's fast, and he has an eye for goal. It's Jeffrey Schlupp. It's still him. It's Ulloa. It's 3, and Leicester are flying away. He's got Morris through the middle. He wants to take on Montero. He's a clever footballer. Damari Gray, Andy King, Gray, and lost in by Albrighton. Leicester's momentum is unstoppable. They're just fearless. They are fearless, and they're so nearly there. If Spurs slip tomorrow, Leicester will play for the title at Old Trafford next Sunday.
So on the Monday night, Tottenham faced West Brom, 8 points behind the leaders at the start of play. Realistically, only a win would suffice for Mauricio Pochettino's young squad.
By Eriksson. It's ended up in the back of the net. They have made the breakthrough. West Brom fans growing in confidence here that their team might come up with a sensational equaliser. And they have done. 1-1. A real setback for Tottenham. Pochettino hangs his head. It's finished.
and maybe finished in the title race for Tottenham Hotspur. But the expressions here suggest that they know that the game is up.
At the other end of the table, a 94th minute Jermaine Defoe penalty salvaged what could prove to be a monumental point for Sunderland in a 1-1 draw at Stoke. Newcastle moved out of the relegation zone with a 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Andros Townsend's stunning free kick gave them the lead, and Carl Darlow preserved it by saving Yohan Cabai's penalty. Sunday the 1st of May, and Leicester City were hoping to complete the impossible dream at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford. The whole world tuned in to see whether Claudio Ranieri's unheralded squad could achieve one of the greatest feats in sporting history.
Leicester have flown in the face of all previously recognised wisdom this season. They've been doubted throughout. They've answered every awkward question thrown in their direction. And now every team's fantasy is almost a reality. Lingard. Outside him, Valencia. Rashford just beyond him, there's Martial! Immediate encouragement from the manager of the team who've fallen behind.
Morgan dives towards a free kick.
There's a lot of wrestling going on, and Morgan nipped in! The captain, Wes Morgan, runs to the Leicester fans.
Leicester only managed to move 1 point closer to their target, but they would still be crowned champions if Spurs failed to win at Chelsea on Monday night. That promised to be gripping viewing for the Leicester players, who gathered around the TV at Jamie Vardy's house to make sure they didn't miss any of the drama from Stamford Bridge.
Over to you, Tottenham. The potential defining moment, take two. They cannot bear this place, but to remain in the title race, Spurs must do what they've never done before and win a Premier League game at the Bridge. Eriksen. Lamela. Kane! Scores! And Tottenham are alive! They're still alive! Harry Kane at the bridge! On by Kane. Eriksen. Son's ahead of him and onside. Son scores! 2-0 Tottenham! They've come to the bridge with a mountain to climb. They have a foothold on that mountain. Williams corner beyond Terry for Cahill! Lashes Chelsea back into it! No longer sitting comfortably, Pochettino. Chelsea playing with a desperation which would hint, if you didn't know otherwise, that they were chasing the title. Costa, away from Alderweireld. Diego Costa, Eden Hazard! Glorious goal! Leicester's goal!
With their dreams in tatters, the Tottenham players began to lose their heads. After such a fantastic season, a bitter conclusion to their part in this fairy tale story.
Leicester City are the champions of England, and the world is left to wonder, wide-eyed, thrilled, bemused. How on earth did that happen? Leicester crowned champions in their absence by their predecessors on a night of perfect succession. Leicester have gone and won it.
So in the end, they clinched it with 2 games to spare. Leicester City having narrowly escaped relegation a year earlier, the 2015-16 Barclays Premier League champions. Newcastle were out of the bottom 3, but Sunderland and Norwich both had a game in hand. Aston Villa's relegation confirmed after 28 consecutive years in England's top flight.
May 2016. Keep dreaming. Why wake up? Claudio Ranieri.
Saturday, May the 7th, saw Leicester's official coronation in front of their adoring fans.
Ranieri applauds the fans.
In 2016, Leicester City are the champions of England. A Premier League tale without compare. crazy. Truly, it is beautiful. They only went and did it. Kingston, they're still dreaming. Sport is intended to uplift, genuinely. It has uplifted the most extraordinary champions England has ever known.
Rooney running onto a long pass and setting up a goal against Norwich.
In the battle to avoid relegation, Norwich suffered a huge blow as they lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United. Newcastle could only manage a goalless draw at Aston Villa, leaving Rafa Benitez's side in desperate need of a Sunderland slip-up. That didn't materialise. Instead, Jermaine Defoe scored the winner in a 3-2 victory over Chelsea. Survival now very much in their own hands. West Ham won a thrilling encounter with Manchester United in the last ever game at the 112-year-old Boleyn ground. 3-2 the final score there.
Fireworks lighting up the sky.
And with their game in hand, Sunderland secured Premier League safety with a 3-0 win against Everton, sending Norwich and Newcastle down in the process.
Cowshrey almost scored direct. Now they've got their goal, and Sunderland are surely safe.
That result cost Roberto Martinez his job. Everton confirmed his sacking the next day. But for Sunderland, this was a night to celebrate.
Big Sam is the man.
The champions received the customary guard of honour at the home of the former champions ahead of the final round of fixtures. On Claudio Ranieri's return to his former club, the Foxes drew 1-1 thanks to Danny Drinkwater's goal. Needing just a point to secure second place, Tottenham somehow managed to lose 5-1 at relegated Newcastle, who played almost half an hour with 10 men. And that was made worse by Arsenal's 4-0 demolition of Aston Villa, which meant they finished above Spurs for the 21st year running. Manchester City secured the point they needed with a 1-1 draw at Swansea, Manuel Pellegrini signing off on a high before handing over the reins to Pep Guardiola in the summer. So Aston Villa, Norwich and Newcastle drop out of the Premier League. Sam Allardyce working miracles at Sunderland. Watford and Bournemouth will be back for another year. Manchester United missed out on a top four finish, and winning the FA Cup failed to save Louis van Gaal. West Ham qualified for the Europa League, but the season belonged to the magicians from the Midlands.
As improbable stories go, this takes some beating.
Why shouldn't they be champions? Reach out for paradise! Now you've got to believe it. Leicester have gone and won it.